Chosen one, pause. This isn't just another video flickering across your screen. This is a divine collision, a moment where heaven itself leans in, whispering your name. The air feels heavier now, doesn't it? That stirring deep in your chest, that pulse of something ancient. It's not random. Heaven has been chasing you, not just today, but through every sleepless night, every tear that fell without reason, every shiver that ran through you when the world was still. That wasn't fear. That was destiny pounding at your door. You've felt it, haven't you? That quiet knowing that something massive is breaking through the veil. God promised it, and now it's here, standing at the edge of your ordinary day, cloaked in the mundane, ready to unravel everything you thought you knew. What if this moment, this fleeting, fragile now, is the hidden gate to every prayer you've whispered in the dark? Or what if turning away means missing the very purpose woven into your soul? This word isn't for the crowd, it's for the faithful, the ones who've lingered in the shadows while others basked in the spotlight, who clung to impossible promises when the world scoffed, who kept their hearts tender in a world sharpened by cynicism. You were never overlooked. You were being sculpted, positioned, prepared. Heaven is shouting over you now. Your waiting is over. Your season isn't coming. It's here. Not tomorrow, not when you feel worthy, not when the stars align. Now. The spiritual currents you've sensed, those waves crashing in your dreams, they're not distant anymore. They're surging, flooding your reality, rewriting your story. You've been weeping in the midnight hours, haven't you? Wondering if God still hears, if He still sees, if that promise was just a cruel echo. But in the silence, heaven was, orchestrating miracles, commanding angels, shifting empires just for you. You thought the heavens were still, but they were roaring with movement. This isn't chance. This is convergence. You're not lagging. You're not lost. You're being ignited. Those vivid dreams, that fire in your veins, that clarity piercing the fog at 3 a.m., it wasn't your mind playing tricks. It was God Himself, whispering secrets, training your spirit to catch what your ears couldn't hold. Remember that vision? The one He painted across your soul when no one else was watching. The one that felt too wild, too impossible. It's not gone. It's not dead. It's been buried like a seed, sinking roots in the dark, waiting for this exact hour. And now the ground trembles. Heaven doesn't tick to human clocks. It moves by divine appointment. And this, chosen one, is yours. You're not unraveling. You're awakening. You're not being broken. You're being trusted. You're not drifting. You're being aligned. Every burden you've carried, every tear you've shed, every moment you've waited, it wasn't for nothing. The heavens have seen. The heavens have heard. And now the heavens are answering. So stand still, chosen one. Let your spirit hush. Feel it. That tremor in your core. That's not doubt. That's divine confirmation. Something eternal is stirring within you. Something sacred. You've stepped into appointed time. Everything shifts now. Your one day isn't a dream, a hope, or a maybe. It's now. Those who called you foolish, who smirked at your faith, who mocked your stubborn hope, they're about to see what happens when God vindicates the quiet, unshakable faithful. Those impossible mountains, the ones that made you doubt your sanity, they're about to bow to heaven's voice. Remember Mary? She didn't have a map. She didn't feel ready. She didn't feel worthy. But when Gabriel spoke destiny into her trembling frame, she whispered, "Be it unto me according to thy word." And with that single yes, the world tilted forever. You're standing in that same kind of moment. You don't need every answer. You don't need the blueprint. You just need to say yes. Let me speak plain. This word cuts so deep because it was forged for you. God doesn't spark this kind of spiritual fire for nothing. He doesn't craft divine encounters to let them slip away. Every ache, every unexplained pull, every pulse of heaven in your veins, it was all leading to this. What if your pain wasn't random? What if it was divine training, heartbreak masquerading as purpose? What if rejection was heaven's shield, What if that door slamming shut wasn't locking you out but guiding you in? The waiting wasn't punishment, it was preparation. You weren't ignored, you were being refined. Heaven held you in sacred isolation because your promise demands perfect timing. And that timing is now. Let this truth sink into your bones. The season of preparation is done. The promise isn't on its way, it's here, knocking at your door. The miracle you've wept for, fasted for, fought for, it's standing in your threshold, waiting for you to claim it. The years of fog, the moments you wondered if you imagined it all, the silence you mistook for abandonment, they were all leading here. Can you feel the shift? That spark in your spirit, that clarity cutting through the haze, that peace that defies logic. That's heaven touching earth. The clouds are parting. The light is breaking. The resistance you felt wasn't your breakthrough. Being denied, it was being contested. Spiritual warfare didn't stop it. It only delayed it. But the delay is over. From your first prayer, God heard. From your first cry, heaven moved. The battle was never if, it was when. And this is your when. This is your now. So tell me, chosen one, how many more signs do you need? How many more whispers from heaven before you step forward? How long will you linger at the edge of your promised land, questioning if you're ready, if you're enough? What if the enemy's greatest trick wasn't stealing your promise but delaying your faith in it? What if his plan was to trap you in almost forever? Wake up. The door is flung wide. You're not waiting for prophecy anymore. You're living it. If this word is piercing your soul, don't scroll past. Claim it. Speak it aloud. The moment you declare your readiness, heaven shifts. Faith like yours doesn't fade into silence. It sparks glory. I know you're afraid. I know your heart's been shattered more times than you can count. I know believing again feels like stepping onto thin ice. But hear me. The appointed time is here. That vision you hid, the one you were almost ashamed to still hold, it's waking up now. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it shall surely come, it will not tarry. Habakkuk 2:3. Remember Noah? God told him to build when the skies were clear, the ground dry, the world mocking. But when the clouds rolled in, his obedience became prophecy. Your faith today will soon look like foresight. This is your moment. This is your one day, and it's here. For 120 years, Noah seemed a fool, hammering away on a boat in a desert. The skies laughed, the crowds sneered, time crawled. But then, a single raindrop, and the world was never the same. This is your raindrop. Remember Jericho? 6 days of, silent circles, aching legs, doubting hearts, enemies taunting from the walls. But on the 7th day, their shout brought mountains down. This is your 7th day. Some of you have carried a promise for a decade, some for 2, some for a lifetime. You've whispered in the dark, God, if it's not soon, it's too late. But hear this, God thrives in too late. When Lazarus lay dead 4 days, the tomb reeking of finality, Jesus said, come forth. When Sarah's womb was barren, at 90, he said, you'll bear a son. When the storm threatened to drown the disciples, Jesus stood and silenced the wind. Time bends to the one who made it. Now do something bold, maybe even strange. Wherever you are, your living room, your bedroom, your office, stand up. Yes, you, right now. This isn't a gesture, it's warfare. With every shred of faith in you, open your mouth and declare, it's happening now. Say it again, it's happening now. The second those words left your lips, the spirit realm trembled. Angels moved, chains snapped, provision stirred. Heaven doesn't ignore faith like that. It answers with fire. This isn't hype. This isn't a pep talk. This is a divine exchange. When God decrees a season shift, it's already done in eternity. Your job is to anchor your faith to heaven's reality. But don't miss this. The Red Sea didn't part until feet touched water. Jericho's walls didn't fall until voices rose. Prison doors didn't open until praise broke free. Chosen one, Your toes are at the water's edge. Your lungs hold the shout. Your lips carry the praise that shatters chains. Everything you've endured led to this. But this moment isn't just about your blessing. It's about your assignment, and it's bigger than you ever dreamed. Chosen one, I may, speaking to the deepest part of you now. That pain you've carried, it wasn't wasted. That rejection that still burns, it was strategic. Those doors that slammed shut, they weren't failures, they were shields. Let this truth root deep. Every closed door was training you. Proverbs 16:9 says, "In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." Your disappointments weren't punishments. They were divine detours. That relationship that crumbled, leaving you questioning your worth, it would have drained your calling. That job you lost, the one that seemed perfect, it would have pulled you from purpose. That opportunity that slipped away, it wasn't your moment because it wasn't your mission. Delay isn't denial, it's design. I know the nights you cried until your soul felt hollow. I know the mornings you begged for a sign God hadn't forgotten you. You watched others soar while you wrestled in the dark, wondering, did heaven pass me by? No, heaven was shaping you, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29:11. Joseph didn't understand the pit, the betrayal, the chains, the prison, but every step carved him into the man who'd save nations. What if your pain is preparing you to save others? What if that health crisis birthed compassion no book could teach? What if that financial storm forged resilience no logic could explain? What if your silent seasons gave you a voice that carries heaven's roar? Nothing was lost. Nothing was random. Every moment was holy preparation for what's next. It was never just pain. It was purpose. All that silence, those unanswered prayers, those nights you lay awake asking why, they carved space for God to speak when the world's noise drowned out truth. Your tears didn't fall in vain. They watered seeds now breaking through the soil. A seed, when planted, is buried, hidden, forgotten. But beneath the dirt, it transforms. Jesus said in John 12:24, "Unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a single seed. But if it dies, it produces many." You weren't buried. You were planted. Someone needs this. You've been crying, "Why me? Why this pain? Why this waiting?" You're exhausted, confused, done trying to make sense of it. But what if your suffering wasn't a curse? It was strategy. Not punishment for your failures, but preparation for your victories. David, anointed king, hid in caves like a fugitive. Moses wandered deserts for 40 years before leading Israel. Even Jesus, God's own son, lived 30 years in obscurity before 3 years that shook eternity. Your wilderness wasn't wasted. Your silence wasn't failure. Your pain had purpose. Romans 8:28 thunders over you. In all things God works for the good of those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. Those midnight tears soaked the soil of your calling. That heartbreak that broke you, it was redirection. Those prayers that seemed to bounce off ceilings, they were gathered in heaven for this hour. The enemy tried to crush you. Heaven used it to craft you. The darkness wasn't your end, it was your forging. Now you're breaking ground. Can you feel it? That stirring isn't anxiety, it's confirmation. Those tears aren't grief, they're birthing waters. Something new is rising in you. Isaiah 43:19 proclaims, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." This isn't a promise approaching. It's a promise unfolding. The harvest is here. The time is now. Every closed door trained you for the one swinging open. Every no shielded you for a divine yes. Every delay built strength to carry your callings. Wait, you weren't buried. You were planted. And now you rise. But here's what many miss, the key that divides those who graze breakthrough from those who seize it. You must grasp this, or you'll circle the wilderness again. Hear me, chosen one, with your spirit. Your financial breakthrough isn't coming, it's here. That season of lack wasn't punishment, it was positioning. God let you taste struggle so you'd steward abundance with reverence. Now it's moving, alive, released. What took years will now take days. The God who fed thousands with 5 loaves is about to multiply your handful. The God who turned water to wine is turning your lack to overflow. You'll stand in awe, asking, how? Others will ask too. Your answer? God. Watch provision flow from places you never sought. Watch connections form without your chasing. Watch opportunities land you never chased. This isn't luck, it's the flood after the first drops. Seen it yet? That unexpected refund, that quiet debt erased, that discount you didn't request. Those are heaven's whispers before the deluge. Psalm 115:14 roars, "May the Lord cause you to flourish, both you and your children." This isn't poetry, it's prophecy unfolding now. The power that shattered Christ's tomb is breathing life into your finances. The grave of lack is broken. The tomb of not enough is empty. Unexpected deposits, divine alignments, debts erased, mortgages cleared, medical bills gone, inheritance unlocked, business doors wide open. Why now? Why you? Because you stayed, faithful when faith felt foolish. You gave when your account screamed fear. You praised in valleys no one saw. Think heaven ignored you? No. God saw every tithe through tears, every seed sown in scarcity. He heard your sighs staring at ceilings, wondering how to survive. He felt your ache saying no to your grandchild. He saw your trembling hands opening bills. That season is done. I will open the windows of heaven, says Malachi 3:10, and pour out a blessing you can't contain. This isn't just scripture, it's your life, written now. So, a sacred question. Have you stopped believing in abundance? Have you settled for scraping by? Have you bought the lie that lack is godly? That's not God's heart. Jesus said in John 10:10, "I have come that they may have life and have it more abundantly." Perissos. Excessive, overflowing, beyond measure. You weren't born to survive. You were born to steward wealth. Not for greed, not for ease, but for kingdom. You're not just blessed. You're a blessing hub for heaven's riches. God isn't raising your comfort. He's raising your giving. So prepare your heart, your hands, your accounts. What if $50,000 hit your bank this week? What ministry would you fund if your home was paid tomorrow? Who'd you bless if your retirement tripled overnight? Here's your prophetic act. Tonight, grab paper. Write your wildest financial dream. Exact numbers, needs, goals. Flip it. Write 9999. Divine completion, harvest. Slip it under your pillow. As you rest, declare, wealth follows my obedience. My prosperity is tied to my purpose. What God promised, He fulfills. Say it nightly for 21 days, not as ritual, but as agreement with heaven's release. You're not begging, you're aligning. Joseph went from prison to palace in a day. Ruth from scraps to fields overnight. The widow in 2 Kings from debt to oil in hours. Your breakthrough doesn't wait for markets or resumes. It's now. Heaven's floodgates are open. Prosperity angels are dispatched to your door, literally. Feel it? That burn in your chest, that quiver in your core. It's not emotion, it's confirmation. This may rattle religion, but I must speak. God is making some of you millionaires, not for pride, not for luxury, but for kingdom expansion. The prophesied wealth transfer isn't coming. It's here, and you're positioned to receive. But this financial shift is just one thread in a greater tapestry. Something deeper, seismic, is moving in the spirit. Listen close. This isn't just blessing, it's divine upheaval. The world's systems, banks, industries, churches, hierarchies, they're crumbling, not evolving, displaced. God is clearing man's structures for His design. Why now? Why you? Because a generation watches, craving voices forged in fire, hearts shaped in caves, vessels molded in secret. You're no accident. You didn't survive for nothing. You're called for such a time as this. Who knows but that you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Esther 4:14. You're Esther, Joseph, Ruth, Noah, David, Deborah, Elijah. Your time is now. Hear heaven's cry. You weren't spared the flames to fade into the crowd. You weren't refined in suffering to fit another's mold. You weren't carried through darkness to blend in at dawn. You're not called to conform. You're called to break the system. Let that truth burn in you. Old structures can't hold your calling's weight. They were built to keep you small, scraping for scraps, while heaven set a table with your name carved in gold. Every rejection wasn't loss, it was protection. Every closed door wasn't punishment, it was guidance. Every overlooked season wasn't abandonment, it was preservation. God shielded you from systems that would have swallowed your voice, chained your purpose. Isaiah 43:19 declares, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." The new thing is here, and you are its vessel. But know this: great calling brings great conflict. High authority draws heavy warfare. Stepping into divine leadership makes you a target for every demonic scheme against your generation. The enemy doesn't aim at the irrelevant, he hunts the essential. Feel the rising pressure, the odd opposition, the sudden exhaustion, the relational friction, the financial hits? That's not random, it's proof. You've wondered, why so hard? Because your spirit carries weight. You're not entering something small, you're entering destiny. Systems are falling. Heaven raises you to lead in their place. Not for platforms, not for fame, but for divine authority. Born not of applause, but of being sent. Moses wasn't qualified. David wasn't chosen by men. His father forgot his name. Peter was raw. Paul hunted the gospel he'd preach. God doesn't pick resumes, he picks callings, like yours. The world doesn't need another star. It needs a voice, forged in fire, dripping with truth, fearless of permission. Chosen one, hear this. Your obedience ties to others' destinies. Your rise unlocks their freedom. When Jonah fled, a city nearly drowned. When Moses wavered, a generation lingered in chains. Who waits for your yes? What family, child, nation? The boldness you pray for isn't coming. It's here, demanded today. This is the hour for the chosen to rise. Not in pride, but purpose. Not in fear, but fire. Not in doubt, but heaven's might. Every shrink keeps someone stuck. Every silence lets lies stand. Every small step sparks the enemy's celebration. You don't rise for you alone. You rise for those who will know your voice, though they've never met you. Read it again. People are tied to your voice. Strangers in lands you've never seen, waiting for your sound. When you speak, they'll rise. Awaken, because you answered heaven's call. Gideon hid, wrapped in fear, smallness, lies. But the angel saw his soul and named him mighty man of valor. Gideon saw lack, God saw potential. God's doing the same with you. What if your difference is your danger to the enemy? What if your pain was warrior training? What if your private scars carved public strength you didn't know you held? Systems shift. The stage is set. Heaven watches. A generation waits. Chosen one, your move. Settle this now. You weren't made to uphold the old. You were born to birth the new. The question isn't if God called you to lead. It's, will you answer? This isn't just words. It's activation. The world doesn't need more influencers, entertainers, or echoes of easy truths. You weren't anointed to amuse. You were born to wake the sleeping. See it? Systems fail. Institutions crack. Money, culture, even religion tremble. Psalm 82:5 says, "All the foundations of the earth are unstable." This isn't just a season. It's the prophet's vision. All that can shake, will. Why? To stir sleeping giants, to call casual believers back to purpose, to place you in this hour. Mordecai told Esther, Who knows but that you were brought to the kingdom for such a time as this? No flattery, a commissioning. I say it to you now, not to lift, but to ignite. Your tears weren't wasted. Your rejections weren't errors. Your detours weren't delays. They were divine forging. God wasn't punishing, He was positioning. You cried, "Why me?" You wondered why your road was rougher, why your story never fit. Now you know. You weren't crushed, you were called. You weren't broken, you were built. Your neighbors don't need programs. Your city doesn't need shows. They need a witness. Proof God still speaks, heals, delivers, lifts chosen ones from ashes to authority. Your life will preach louder than pulpits. Your scars will prophesy. Your voice will wake what religion couldn't touch. God asked Ezekiel, "Can these bones live?" Today, He asks you about your family, your workplace, your generation. You are His answer, His voice to call dry bones to life. You'll be why someone remembers their purpose, why a prison opens, why a soul finds home. This isn't pride or platform, it's purpose. Jesus said in Matthew 5:14, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden." When did your light last make someone glorify God? When did your presence shake spiritual sleep? If fire burns in you now, if your bones ache with urgency, act. Send this to someone chosen, overlooked, outcast, fire-tested. They need this. Now pray with me, aloud. God, make me a light in collapse. I surrender comfort, plans, fear. Make my life a sermon that wakes others to their purpose. I accept my assignment as a chosen one. Feel that weight? Not guilt, not pressure, commissioning. Heaven's authority rests on you. Hiding ends, silence breaks. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Isaiah 60:1. I know it's heavy. You're thinking, I'm one person, too old, too broken, too ordinary. That's who God uses. He parted the Red Sea with an 80-year-old staff. He toppled Jericho with worship, not war. He saved the world through a Nazareth carpenter. The awakening won't start with megachurches or influencers. It'll spark in hidden rooms with tested, wilderness-forged, faithful like you. Heaven asks, will you answer or be the one who almost shifted history? What will you pay? What comfort dies, what identity fades, the call costs, and heaven's serious. This isn't just encouragement, it's a merciful warning. Prophetic moments demand response. The Israelites wandered 40 years on an 11-day trek, not God's delay, but their missed moment. 12 spies saw the land. Only Joshua and Caleb believed. Fear cost a generation their inheritance. Miss this, and you might circle another year, decade, or forever. Esther was warned, if you stay silent, deliverance will come elsewhere and you'll perish. Heaven's purpose rolls on, with or without you. Will you be vessel or bystander? Your closed doors were redirection. Your heartbreak was protection. Your financial strain was preparation. Positioning's done. Most will miss God's move, not from evil, but distraction. They seek burning bushes while God speaks in burning hearts. They want neon signs when He whispers at 3 a.m. They crave thunder, but He's in the stirring. Isaiah 43:19 says, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? God's moving. Do you see? Peter's miracle began not on water, but in the boat, when he stood while others sat. What's your boat? What fear keeps you from the supernatural? 3. Hear this. Those who dismiss it, those who feel but pause, and the rare who act now. Who are you? Heaven's done waiting. Move. Haggai challenged a people saying, not yet. God replied, is it time for you to live in paneled houses? While my house lies in ruins. How many more signs? Dreams? Closed doors? Wake-up calls? You feel it. That discontent, that ache for more. It's not restlessness, it's prophetic awareness. So, heaven's question, what holds you back from your calling? The time is here. The call is you. The world groans for God's sons and daughters. Behold, I stand at the door and knock, says Revelation. Jesus doesn't force entry, he knocks. You choose. Doors don't stay open forever. Moses had his bush, Mary her angel, Paul his Damascus road. This is your interruption. The 10 virgins all knew the bridegroom came, but only 5 were ready. Not knowledge, readiness mattered. Casual faith is dead. Spectator spirituality is done. Heaven drafts warriors, moving, building, speaking when others won't. Chosen one, you're hiding, preparing, waiting served its purpose. Manifestation begins. Will you leave your boat, your cage of comfort? Will you be your generation's Joshua, saying, "We are well able," when others see giants? The promised land is your destiny. Not someday, not after one more sign. Now. This moment's heavier because heaven's release isn't for all. Only the faithful, clean-handed, clear-eyed, open-hearted. A fire, a power, a roar sleeps in you. Heaven waited for this second to wake it. You prayed for strength, but a giant's been in your spirit all along. Proverbs 28:1. The righteous are as bold as a lion. Not will be, are now, in you. The enemy didn't attack your weakness. He feared your danger. Warfare wasn't random. It revealed you. Hell saves fury for those who scare it most. A chosen one who knows who they are. David, a forgotten shepherd, carried a king's heart. Your weakness is your weapon. Your disqualifications were God's qualifications. Your tears forged strength. Your oversight hid destiny. Your doubted worth preserved purpose. Now it's time. The world won't get you. Diamonds don't justify to stones. 1 Samuel 16:7. The Lord looks at the heart. Others saw a boy. God saw a king. Others see your pain. God sees your throne. That stirring, that trembling, it's ancient power waking. The enemy watches, knowing what happens when you awaken, when a lion roars, when a chosen one walks. Choose. Sleep in safety or rise in fire, becoming the threat you were born to be. Your prayers are weapons. Your worship shakes hell. Your testimony cuts chains. You've begged for power you already hold. You're not fighting for power, you're fighting from it. The Spirit that raised Jesus lives in you, not visiting, not hovering, dwelling. Romans 8:11. If the Spirit of Him who raised Jesus lives in you, He will give life to your mortal body. You don't need more. You need to unleash what's inside. What if battles didn't destroy but revealed you? The enemy fears your awakening, not your pain. He wants you asleep. A sleeping giant's no threat. But when you know your assignment is your identity, everything changes. You were made for this hour. Your name echoes in heaven. Your existence proves revivals here. Ephesians 2:10. We are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works prepared in advance. Before your first breath, your first fall, your first doubt. No more hesitation, no more shrinking. You carry authority that shakes demons, wisdom that humbles the wise, love that breaks darkness. Power's not coming, it's here, waiting for your yes. Chosen one. What now, knowing who you are? This isn't your next step. It's your awakening, shifting all around you. The world's not just in chaos, it's in transition. The shaking's not random, it's divine dismantling. Old systems fall, heaven rebuilds. Why this generation? Because God chose you for this moment, trusted you with this age. Who knows if you were made queen for such a time as this? Mordecai said, your birth wasn't random. Your survival wasn't chance. You're the answer to prayers, the fruit of prophecies, the seed of revival in this soil. Your burden for strangers isn't emotion, it's assignment. Your ache at injustice isn't empathy, it's permission to shine. But if you don't rise, someone stays bound. If you stay silent, lies persist. If you shrink, impact delays. You're a link in a divine chain, a voice in destiny's song. Will you stay safe or wake the giant? Isaiah 6:8 echoes, whom shall I send? That's for you. Moses was 80 when his mission began, Sarah 90 with her miracle, Abraham 100 with his promise. Don't say it's too late. The enemy wants you retired because your greatest assignment stands before you. Noah built a century while mocked, but one raindrop vindicated him. You've carried strange dreams, vast visions, heavy burdens. Heaven says, it's time. Joel 2:28. Your old men will dream dreams, not retire. Dream. The kingdom's warriors aren't just young but seasoned, like you. Families, communities, nations hang in the balance. God doesn't need perfect, he needs willing. Moses stuttered. David fell. Peter denied. Your past can't cancel your future. Will you let him use you? History's books are open. Will they say you answered, or fear wrote regret? Romans 8:19. Creation waits for the children of God to be revealed. Creation waits for you. This is your assignment in God's greatest move. Declare, for such a time as this. Speak it, write it, let heaven hear. Call out another, someone hiding, told to settle. The world needs every voice for this hour. When God says it's time, he doesn't open doors, he carves paths. That path forms now. Your stirring's now confirmation. Heavens are open. The gates unlocked. You weren't crazy. Oil's fresh. Heaven's loud. I'll open your graves, says Ezekiel 37:12. Dead dreams, buried hopes, look up. Heaven's green light shines over your calling. God says yes where the enemy screamed, impossible. Your waiting wasn't punishment, it was protection. God didn't withhold from you, he withheld for you. The gap's closing. I see a key turning in a rusted lock of delay. Hear it? Your destiny's unlocking. But an open door isn't a free pass. You must step through, leaving safety, comfort, the known. The Israelites faced an open promise, yet fear kept a generation back. What's your choice? Revelation 3:8. I've placed before you an open door no one can shut. Not your past, critics, lack, or devil, no one. Declare, the door is open, not routine, a holy mark, your decree to step in faith. Share how this speaks to you. What door opens? What promise calls? Struggling? Type, praying for faith. This community will lift you. Send this to someone at their threshold. Your share might unlock their destiny. Thank you for walking this with Chosen. This isn't a script, it's a divine collision of your spirit with God's truth. Subscribe to Chosen, tap the bell. Heaven has more for you, and I don't want you to miss it. Chosen one, the door is open. Heaven waits. Your time's now. Go in peace, walk in power, live assured. God finishes what he starts. Until next time, Chosen believes with you, stands for you, walks in faith with you. Share your heart below. Your breakthrough's never just yours. If faith falters, write praying for faith. We'll hold you up. Share this with someone at their edge. Your act could spark their yes. Thank you for this journey with Chosen. This is a sacred intersection of your soul and God's truth. Subscribe to Chosen, hit the bell. Heaven's not done speaking. Chosen one, the door's open. Heaven waits. Your time's now. Go in peace, walk in power, trust God's completion. Chosen believes, stands, walks with you.